Welcome my beautiful friends. The category for today's video is personal growth, and I wanted to start a conversation about anger. Anger is normal and the emotion of it is neither good nor bad. If you've been wronged, cheated, betrayed, it's perfectly normal to feel angry. The problem starts when our anger gets the best of us, meaning it amplifies the way we react, or it can be a problem when every little thing sets us off. Because these videos are all about honesty, I have to admit that anger has been one of my biggest problems. I have the explosive type of anger where you go from 0 to 100 in a second, and you could say and do things that are awful and you regret later. I've spent a lot of time looking for ways to get over this and break this habit, and I've learned so many helpful things along the way that I would really like to share with you this week. Many of us may have the feeling that anger is out of our hands and there's little to do to actually control it, but that is not true. There are a lot of things that we can do to not only become more aware of ourselves and start controlling the anger in those initial stages when it's being triggered, but we can also control the way we react as we've reached the pinnacle of anger, and that is what I'll go over. In today's video, I will talk about some overall strategies I have and some options and ideas for you that will help control anger. And in the email that will go out on Friday, I will send you the content I'm writing right now that is about dealing with some of the more specific styles of anger. Because an explosive anger, for example, will manifest itself differently and can have different roots than the avoidance or self-abuse types of anger. So to be more successful at controlling it, it's important to identify which kind of anger you predominantly experience and do some of that specific work. If you'd like to get that email from me, the link to sign up for it is below. So step number 1 is exploring what is behind the anger. There's no way around this. Visualizing feeling relaxed doesn't deal with the issue, so it will always keep popping up. Anger issues often come from what we've learned or experienced as a child. Any stressful or traumatic events that weren't properly dealt with will make you more prone to anger. Having watched adults fighting, screaming, and throwing things at each other could have also ingrained in the back of your mind that that's the way to deal with anger. So in reality, there could be a variety of different reasons stemming from your childhood that make dealing with anger as an adult such a chore. Anger is often a cover-up for our real feelings. And even though we're in the present, if somebody does something that sets us off, it could be that what was done hit a sore spot that automatically generated painful, powerful feelings that come disguised as anger. If you feel like you have a need to be in control, if many situations you view as either right or wrong and get mad when somebody disagrees with you, if you feel like your authority is always being challenged by other people, if you feel like you're having a hard time expressing your emotions or have a hard time compromising, then you may have some feelings from childhood that you haven't properly dealt with and you need to do some work on becoming a little bit more emotionally aware. Some things you could do to help with that is to start building your emotional vocabulary even more. Actually saying out loud to yourself the emotion that you feel when you feel it is a great start. For example, I'm sad, I'm proud, disappointed, annoyed, content, mad. If you can make it a point to spend 5 minutes with yourself at the end of each day and think about how the day went and how you felt throughout it, and then simply list those things like, today I felt hopeful, annoyed, and right now I'm feeling confused. If you do that every day, that will be a great first step. If you could write down the date and then list those feelings in writing that you felt that day, that would be even better. Another thing you can do to help improve your emotional awareness is to focus more on other people. How many times have you been part of a conversation, but in the back of your head, you're daydreaming, you're thinking of all the things you have to do when you get home and such? That means you're basically not in the moment and you're not aware. So make it a point to look into people's eyes and make that effort to pay attention to the conversation. Another great way to become more emotionally aware is to learn to forgive and let go of guilt. When I was testing out the ideas of filming these videos, I recorded one about letting go of guilt. It's linked below in the description box. It is an old video, so you will totally notice the difference in quality, but content is content, and I think that content is strong. If you would like me to make a video about how to learn to forgive, or maybe a video talking about the different ways to become more emotionally aware, then please leave me a comment below. Tip number 2 is becoming more mindful so we can catch ourselves in that moment. We may not notice them right now, but there are physical warning feelings that we're getting angry, and you can't go from one point to another without any of these things actually happening. When you're in a situation that you know can spark your anger, pay special attention to your body. You could feel an increase in your heart rate, like it's pounding. You could feel knots in your stomach, your jaw and hands clenching, increased tension in your shoulders. You could feel yourself breathing faster, getting a headache, or even feeling flushed. If you can put your finger on any one of those feelings, you are now aware of yourself. You're mindful, and you could realize, uh-oh, I'm about to get real angry right now. That's when you can do something to prevent an anger burst from happening. That could be as easy as excusing yourself from the conversation, let's say going to the bathroom, taking some deep breaths, and maybe having your anger released privately. Then coming back to the conversation when you feel more grounded. 2 books I recommend on mindfulness are Mindfulness Made Simple, Fun, and Crystal Clear by Daniel Robbins, and Mindfulness in Plain English 20th Anniversary Edition by Bhante Gunaratana. I honestly can't pronounce the name right now, but I will list both of them below. When you subscribe to my email, I will send you a welcome message, and at the bottom of that message, there will be a link to all the previously written private content. That content can be only accessed by password. Well, when you're on that page that you land on from my email, go to the month of February and click on the post about self-confidence. You will see the password right below the title, so copy and paste that when prompted, and take a look at the tips about living in the now. Those should help further with practicing mindfulness. Tip number 3 is to create an anger journal, and this is mine. When you have a blowout, so to speak, after you calm down, this could even be the next day, I would like for you to write down the date when it happened, a brief description of what happened, and then bullet point what you really think the reasons were behind you getting angry. If you asked your boyfriend for chocolate ice cream and you got mad when he brought home vanilla, you didn't get mad because of something so trivial as not liking vanilla. Maybe you got mad because you didn't feel listened to. Does that make sense? This process wasn't easy for me at first, but the more I did it, the easier it became figuring out the real reasons behind my anger. It will make problems more identifiable, and you could also notice trends in your behavior, which is really powerful and will give you an easier chance at control. In this journal, use 1 page per anger event. So even if you only wrote 6 lines on 1 page, when you have another episode, let's say, you should use a separate page for that. Tip number 4 is to learn ways to cool down. The first way is breathing from your diaphragm. I showed you how to do that in a video I made about anxiety, and that video is linked below. Please watch that and use the diaphragm breathing until you've regained control. Another way to cool down is to stretch, and I showcased 3 powerful exercises for you in the video about relieving stress. I will link that below as well, and that should also help you cool down. You may see that some of these videos are overlapping. That's because we are extremely complex, and so are the issues we are facing. So please check out the personal growth playlist, watch, rewatch videos, and do the work until it becomes second nature and watch your life transform. Slowly counting to 10 is another way to cool down, as is massaging any area of your body that may have gotten tense. You could rub your shoulders, your neck, and massage your head. Tip number 5 is to have an outlet for anger. Don't get me wrong, being zen and meditating is amazing, but I found that it's not enough for me. Some people recommend exercising as an outlet, but that's just never been good enough for me anyway, because running or swimming, for example, doesn't quite release the anger I have in me. So if you feel the same, I recommend doing something ideally once a week that exerts any pent-up emotion. Going to the batting cages or the driving range have been incredible for me. And when you swing that bat or that golf club, you exert that power, and it's a great outlet for you to release some of that stuffy energy you may be carrying around, and release it that way as opposed to releasing it on another person. My husband actually wants to come with me too because he thinks it's fun, so that is a great idea of how you can turn this activity into a family gathering, or maybe going with other people if you don't want to go by yourself. Tip number 6 is to create a management plan. Stressful events and circumstances don't excuse anger, but understanding which more specific events tend to trigger it will help you gain more control. Take a look at your regular routine and try to identify the types of circumstances, people, and times of day that trigger your irritability. Writing in that anger journal will help with this as well, because you can go through the pages and you could notice perhaps some common elements, some trends. Once you do, prepare yourself mentally ahead of time. If you are about to go to your mother-in-law's house and you know she always makes you really angry, decide ahead of time how you're going to handle it. So You'll remember that it's not about you, it's about who she is, and if she makes any colorful remarks, you will politely change the conversation or be prepared to remove yourself from it. And then, while you're in those circumstances that you know can easily elevate you to the next step, make the effort that we talked about to be more aware and mindful. Listen to your body and then follow the tips that we talked about in this video. Now, it's also important to know when it's time to get a little bit of additional help. Never let unsolved issues or issues that you have a hard time dealing with on your own to make the best of you, because that's not what life is about. In the email that's going out on Friday, I'll share with you my thoughts on addressing some of the more specific anger styles, and I will also share some positive affirmations because God be willing, we all need them. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and please connect with me on all the social medias. I'm very active on Facebook and Instagram, and I periscope every Monday with other tips that don't make it into my videos or private blogs, so I hope to see you there. I love you for watching, and I hope this helped in any way it could. May good luck and fortune follow you everywhere you go today and every day. I will see you again this week in a new video. Bye!